left-wing militiaman. He's been training since the age of 13. He's never left his neighborhood in East Beirut.
يا حي مثل ما شايفة شقفة خشبة وشقفة حديدة وحي كبسة زر تكبص راحوا لبني آدم. شو هي خرطوشة يا حي؟ شو يا حي؟ هيدي هي بتخليه ينتكل لبني آدم. هاي الشقفة اللي فوق هيدي بينتكل والروح بزور الأبدية. شو بدك تحايل؟ شغلة صارت عندي مثل كرعة المي. صارت شغلة الحرب. الله يسترني من كلمة أنا يعني شو بدك يعني ما في مجال. صرت بلقط البارودة مثل كأني عم بلقط لعبة يعني ما في مجال. يعني بقوص فيها مثل كأني عم باكل شحابة بونبون مثل كأني عم بسلي شي وحدة. عادي شي طبيعي يعني. كل واحد بده يفوت على منطقتي الشرقية. ما بعتقد انه بفوت صاغ سليم لانه ما بدي خزقه بدي اكله لحمه. من هدول انه كانوا يفكروا يفوتوا علينا. كان من فلسطيني من املي من شيعي من اشتراكي من درزي من الى اخره. من حتى بدي خبرك يعني كردي مردي كلهم هدول ما محرمه فوتتهم. فوق لو كله انا انسان عسكري وحرب وما حرب وكل هالشيء هذا بس ضلني انسان بآمن كثير. بآمن بربي وخاصة يعني بشفيعي ماري دياس. يعني تصور زمان مثلا دقوا على صدري وهون دق الصليب.
There had been a siege around the refugee camp at الزعتر for several weeks. That is, the Christian phalangists were besieging this Palestinian refugee camp. Then finally it drew to an end. The camp fell. The phalangists allowed the civilians to leave the camp, but of course they took away all the men between the ages of about 15 and 70 to a fate that nobody ever knew what happened to them, although people saw bodies and people saw them being dragged around the areas of East Beirut behind cars. And I have many good friends who are journalists who saw these things happen. I just saw some of the bodies on the beach afterwards. The next day we went over to East Beirut. The phalangists invited us to come over, and Bashir Gemayel, who was then, he had just taken over as the head of the phalangist militia. Bashir Gemayel had this press conference. He said, "We are proud of what you are going to see in the refugee camp." And he said it again and again. We said, you know, to ourselves, this is crazy. This guy is absolutely off the wall. But, of course, you know, we had the opportunity. They gave us the opportunity. They were proud of what they had done. So they took us and showed us what they had done. And it was just disgusting for me. I remember I walked in with Joe Alex Morris. And you saw these kind of bundles of rags that the civilians had left as they fled from the camp. And then suddenly you notice that some of the bundles were actually bodies that were just kind of bundled up. And then we saw bodies that had been left in the roadway, just like a dirt track, and had been driven over. There was a constant stream of cars coming in, Christians coming in from the neighborhood with a little piece of paper that was a license to loot that was given out by the militia. And they were just driving right over the bodies, and some of these bodies were kind of down to sandwich thickness, almost unrecognizable as human bodies. And went in, and I saw a pregnant woman whose belly had been slit open. I saw just old people lying in all terrible contortions with knife wounds and gun wounds, just heaped on top of each other, probably where they had fallen.
We, the Christian phalange, rule this country.